Fox News alert now. Democratic donor Ed Buck arrested again after a third man overdoses at his home in Hollywood. Prosecutors saying that he injected a 37-year-old with meth and also accused him of operating a drug den. Buck is charged with battery, causing serious bodily injury, and administering the drug. Criminal defense attorney David Bruno with us here in New York, an attorney himself. And David, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys.
What happens to him?
Well, he's in jail. But let's take a step back here. There's been two years they've been looking at this man, and there's been a tremendous amount of community pressure to the prosecutors to charge him for those 2 overdoses. But that's not what we're talking about today. He's charged with this new case where this individual, an adult, came into this house and overdosed. But he's alive, and now he's cooperating. And my main question is, how are you going to bring the other 2 into this case? Because these facts are weird. This individual came in 1 week prior, overdosed, and then came back voluntarily. You know, so while everybody wants to prosecute this man for those 2 overdoses, there was
a journal entry about that, I believe.
Yeah, well, Moore. We're talking about Moore. Moore was the first. 2 years ago, he was 26 years old, and there was a journal entry that said basically Buck got him on meth. He overdosed and died, and that's where this all started. That's where the pressure on Buck was. The community came out and said this man needs to be investigated and prosecuted, but the prosecutors looked at it, and it was a voluntary death. It was an overdose. It was accidental. Now we have this third man, and he was there on his own volition as well.
I know you
so I'm coming from a criminal defense perspective on this, and I have some big questions.
Death charges involving overdose.
None. Zero, Sandra. There are no death charges in the complaint against Ed Buck now. It is an assault. It is administering meth and running a drug den.
But you make the case that death charges involving overdose are very difficult to prove.
Oh, absolutely. And I investigated them. I was in major crimes. I went to the scenes. I looked at that. There are causation issues. What other drugs are in the decedent's body? There's also the argument that the decedent was involved himself. But prosecutors may have more here because they've asked for a $4 million bail, and they are taking a very aggressive approach, saying that he's sexually deviant and a sexual predator. But personally, I don't see it in the complaint as charged. They need to come out with more charges if they're going to go that route.
Will there be other charges?
Possibly. But what charges would they be? I don't think they can get him on the 2 prior deaths, those overdoses. If anything, they found hundreds of pictures, they said, at the crime scene of men in sexual positions and things like that. I think sex crimes would be where I would be going if I was a prosecutor, to see if these men were involuntarily assaulted sexually while they were incapacitated or some other things.
Why is the bail so high, $4 million?
Because it's the central. It's a case that everybody's looking at. I think it's too much. I can't believe it's $4 million based on what's in the complaint. Now, again, there could be more, but he's not charged with the 2 deaths, and this third individual did not die. So I think that's high.
David Bruno, thank you.
Thank you, David.
You got it, guys.